Hi everybody, Mark McNutt here with my loving sidekick Caboodle, who is my #1 fan, and I'm doing the astrological update for you. A few days late. Usually I like to do it at the new moon, so this is about the Scorpio moon in Scorpio moving into November and up to almost winter solstice, and so this is my kitty Caboodle, and so he likes to hang on every word I say, and that's why he just turned over there. So it's a few days late, but the reason I'm so purpley today is because I want to talk about going in deep. The new moon in Scorpio is a time of deep introspection and a time of really doing things in a deep way, and frankly recognizing your darker emotions, because here in the northern hemisphere, where almost all of you are watching, we're descending into winter, and the winter, the dark quarter is from November 7th until February 5th. It's not from December 21st to spring equinox. So the solstice is like the winter solstice is like the darkest time, but we're going into it right now, 6 weeks before and 6 weeks after, and there's something to that. And here the salmon are spawning, and the rains are happening here in the northwest, and what we're looking at is the introspection time. So at this time of maximum light, when people want to, first they celebrate Thanksgiving, then they move into, the December time with the lighting everything up. It's really important to take some time to go to the deep, darker space in yourself, because what happens is we can decide that we're in charge of things and that we're making things happen, or we can ignore them and then they happen to us. So this month, we start with this lunar month, we start with Sun and Moon in Scorpio, but also conjunct Mars nearby in Scorpio, also Ceres in Scorpio. Ceres is a tiny planetoid, is the lead asteroid, and has to do with productivity and nurturement. So the nurturement comes from the deep, murky levels. And Mars in Scorpio, very intense, very passionate, very full on. So all these planets are opposed to Uranus right now, and we can expect a lot of the unforeseen, a lot of things coming out of the blue, a lot of movement right now. It is the opposite of a stagnant time. It's a time when there's a lot going on. So pay attention to that and invest in it by going in and finding your deep rooted center, just like my kitty is right now. And you can keep purring. It's okay. It doesn't. When I speak about the dark times, I'm not speaking necessarily about. It doesn't have to be a depressing time, but it is really great for writing poetry and things like that. And with the presence of Mars there in Scorpio. Well, you know that song, This is the Dawning of the Age of Aquarius, which I get quoted to me all the time. The moon being in the 7th house and peace guiding the stars and so forth like that. Let's just say this is not the song for now. There's really heavy, intense things going on, as you know, around the world, and around this nation, and around a lot of other societies, nations, tribes, etc. It's going on everywhere. There's the compelling energy of opposition. So right now, Sun and at the new moon and Mars and Ceres, and they're all opposite the planet Uranus, which I'm just not going to call it Uranus. It's Uranus, and Uranus rolls on its side, spins backwards, and likes to break the rules. It likes to bring up the surprises and the sudden jolt of energy. And so that's the most key aspect going on right now, and that will bring up a lot of unforeseen events, and a lot of hidden emotions will come to light at this time. That's why I'm telling you to embrace the dark side of yourself in a good way, because you can tap into that in a, like a deep taproot, and it can be really powerful. But if you resist that energy, it could really come back to bite you at this time. So beware and be aware. And that sounds like a lot of doom and gloom. But on the other hand, there is a lot going on right now. Besides the Scorpio planets being opposite Uranus, they're also in trine with Neptune. So Neptune's in Pisces. Neptune particularly in Pisces, has to do with drugs and dreams and visions and otherworldly experiences. That which is not linear. Neptune is the imaginative line in there, and so Neptune in trine, very favorable aspect to this murky undercurrents of Scorpio. This can give us a lot of juice towards the subconscious right now, towards creativity. This could be a really good time for a creative project, and it could be a really good time for, again, going in deep with yourself and imagining a new future, because that's part of what's going on right now. And this time being so transformative and changeable and non-stagnant. It's like the log jam breaks, and where do you want to point that water? Because there's a lot of water going on right now, isn't there, Caboodle? And so, along with Neptune, Venus has just entered Libra, which is actually a nice balance with all this, literally and figuratively. Venus is very comfortable, very at home in Libra. Venus in Libra is great for relationships, great for cuddling and schmoozing and things like that. So you have on the one hand Mars in Scorpio, that intense undercurrent thing, which also has, strong sexual, sensual, attractive vibe in there. And Venus in Libra, well, we're coming into this dark time also with a yearning for social life, for completion, for the balance and harmony of partnership. And that's being, as I mentioned, the other side of that coin is about the conflicts coming to the surface right now. So when I talk about Venus being in Libra, the sign of peace, I'm not talking about peace on the planet. I'm talking about schmoozing with and cuddling with your besties and things like that. I'm talking about on a more personal level, how we can find harmonic paths with each other during these times of darkness. And what else is going on? Pluto's at the tail end of Capricorn, so stay tuned for that. In February, it's going to move into Aquarius for about 15 years. Neptune comes out of retrograde in a few weeks, so this is really deep dreaming time, and probably catch up on your sleep and catch up on your daydreaming during that during this passage of this month. And so let's see. Mercury's just entered Sagittarius, so this is a time of shooting straight, of speaking your truth, of figuring out where your arrows are and pointing them in the good direction. This can be a good time for networking, as long as you're not overly attached to the outcome, because the catch is definitely being so determined in the outcome that things shake apart. There's after the last San Francisco earthquake in 1989, they started installing rubber grommets at the base of earthquake zone buildings, and that's what we need to remember right now. Where are our rubber grommets? Because we're going to get and are being, shaken up to the core right now. And so how do we integrate that? How do we find that balance? So I know that many of you are aware of the tragedies that are going on in the world right now, and that's really significant. And there's lots of personal meaning in there. There's lots going on the international front. But this entry is mostly how to navigate your personal life, and that's through introspection, through creativity, through playfulness. There's an inner playfulness, but it's deep role playing that we're doing right now. So, but there's many moments when you should just be like caboodle here and just let life just roll over with life, because if you get too rigid right now, there can be issues. And one more thing, Saturn moving into Pisces. So Saturn went into Pisces last summer as well, but then retrograded, and now on November 3rd, Saturn came out of retrograde. So we'll be able to take the creativity of our dreaming as Saturn moves into Pisces, the sign of dreaming, and we'll be able to do something with it. We'll be able to point it somewhere. So, reach out to your friends. Venus being in Libra and that strong Uranian energy, reach out to your friends and your support groups if you need that support now. Allowing yourself to grieve if you need to grieve now. And picture a better future, because things are not stagnant now, and in that movement, it gives us all the ability to actually have more purchase with the changes that we're going through right now. In other words, when things are rigid and they don't move, that's one thing. But right now, things are moving very quickly, and you want to direct those pieces. So I wish you all the best, and happy many holidays coming up. Next time you hear from me, it may be in a different country, and we'll be catching up again in a month. Go well. If you want a personal reading, contact me at astrowizardry@gmail and astrowizardry.com. And otherwise, me and my buddy Caboodle are going to sign off now, and wishing you well.